screaming of the N-word or anything.
Oh, what if I want that?
That's all
That was
on
mainly
you.
directed towards me.
Yeah.
Usually how this show goes is we'll go ahead and start, and we'll just introduce you, and we'll just talk. Nothing we really can't talk about unless there's something you don't want to talk about. But we usually just do just converse and talk about whatever. That sounds good to you.
Sounds good, man.
All right, Jacob, you ready?
Yes, sir. Let's
All right,
do it.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
I have a question.
What's your question? So,
Is this is the video recorded?
yeah, it is.
Oh, and then you post that on YouTube or something?
Yeah, we do it on YouTube.
Oh, that music can only mean one thing. You hear them voices over there too. It is the Open MicersPodcast.
Podcast. The whole time.
How can you not hear it? Dude, I did a test run. I did a test run with my other podcast a little while ago. They heard everything. I don't know why you can't hear the music. I think my my board here just hates the show. I think that's what it is.
Not a fucking chance, dude.
Not
a fucking chance.
You can't hear this? Did you hear that?
No, dude.
No? So weird.
Here's the thing. Here's what's funny. So we have like a running gag on the show where we just like never tell the guests that they probably won't hear the theme music. So inevitably they hear just a silence and they're like, oh, I need to fill this silence because these guys are bad at podcasting.
Right.
Yeah,
and this time I did it too. I did it as well.
And here's the thing. It works perfectly for my other podcast, but it does not work here. And I don't get it. I don't understand why.
Talking through that theme song can only mean one thing.
Yeah.
It's time for Open Micers.
Jacob, you wanna introduce our guest here tonight?
I would absolutely love to, dude. I actually discovered this guy only a few months ago, thanks to the handy dandy YouTube algorithm. I watched his entire special live in a bowling alley, which was fucking fantastic. It is currently available on the Graham K YouTube channel. He puts out clips very regularly, so I would suggest that you subscribe to that for some funny little shorts of all the stand-em-ups. It's the one and only Graham K. How you doing, man?
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. That's crazy. That's how you found out about me, huh? The algorithm. Wow.
Yeah, dude. So I've been watching a lot of just like self-made YouTube specials.
Yeah.
From like 800-pound Gorilla Media and people like that. And I love it so much because like to me, the stuff that's on Netflix right now is just like so not what comedy is, really. Yeah. Like it's just a bunch of, established people getting highlighted with like some trash fifth hour that they threw together and sold to Netflix.
That happens a lot. Like a lot of people, they get a big payday. And it takes about 2 years to write an hour of material for like even the best person.
For sure.
And if you have like 8 months, you're like, well, I want that payday. So it's a bunch of like half thrown together stuff. But if it's someone's first special, it's still pretty good. Like Shang Wang's, it was his first special.
Oh yeah.
And that was awesome. That was on Netflix. But I think that only happened because like he only got the opportunity in the first place because he's really good friends with what's her name? Ali Wong. Like he deserves it. He deserves the opportunity. But he needed, in order for someone like that to get on Netflix, they need like someone huge to be like put them on.
Yeah. Right.
So you're right. Like people who are really good just don't get the opportunity anymore. It's become like it's like payola on radio back in the day.
See, that's the weird thing because Netflix back in the day used to be, they would kind of like just be brave to just try new things and put all kind of stuff out there.
Yeah,
they needed content.
It should be. It's like, I guess what are they trying to save money with their server farm somewhere? Like who cares if you put it on? You put it out there. So I don't know.
I guess
it's
because
weird.
Netflix has gotten so big, they just kind of get picky and choosy about what they put on. But the thing is, with a comedy special, the lower tier comedians, I'm not talking about like Dave Chappelle, who gets paid, $20 million per special. I'm talking about like lower tier comedians who could put, a good 30-minute special out that's decently filmed and just put it on Netflix. I mean, why not? Netflix could pay them a certain percentage to put it on. I mean, there's plenty out there.
Yeah, if it looks good, put it on. I mean, mine, we shot on 3 red cameras. Those are like what they use to make movies.
Oh yeah,
I have friends in the biz who help me out, and so it looks like it's Netflix quality. It's better than some of them on Netflix, in my opinion, in terms of the quality.
Yeah,
and definitely the jokes. Yeah, if you ask me.
Yeah, for sure.
Couple good zingers in there, folks.
Yeah, no, it really is a really good special. I found that like most of the YouTube specials that like, it sucks that like people have to pay out of pocket for it. I think like Joe List spent like $120K on his new special. But the thing is like he's already like more like probably like tripled that money just in ticket sales. Because he has that special's over 1 million views. That that's all ticket sales, and then of course YouTube pays you a little bit of money too.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely got the money back and then some. It's just you have to make these wild investments in yourself, and that's why I did it. I mean, and now look, it's paying off right now. I'm on the OpenMicers podcast.
That's right, man.
Hey, we're hit makers, man. We're hit makers over here.
No, dude, actually, we talked to Ariel Elias a week before she went viral. Dude.
Oh, wow.
The very next week, she got a fucking high noon thrown at her and was on CNN.
Awesome.
Hey, I just saw today that our good friend Sean Patton's got a special coming out on, I think it's Peacock, funny. Isn't it? Peacock or?
Yeah, Peacock.
Peacock?
It's on Peacock.
That's awesome.
He's so funny. He's so funny.
Yeah, he's so nice too, dude.
He's just a great guy. Ariel Elias is one of those comics that people won't know about, but they're really funny, and there's no industry anymore. There's no star system. There's no like Comedy Central used to have like a feeder system. You'd be like, you do Live at Gotham, and then that's like a 5-minute set or a 7-minute set, and if you did well on that, then they give you a half hour. And then if people like that, then they would give you they'd give you an hour, and then they would start putting you on like their Comedy Central shows. You have like little guest appearances as an actor or as a panel on something, and there's all sorts of things like that for comics to do like 10 years ago, and now all of that is gone, and so you kind of have to do it yourself, and you're basically a slave to the algorithm now. Like I have a little calendar right to the right of my screen, and you guys can't see, and it's just stuff up when I have to post stuff, so the algorithm will like me, and I hate it.
I don't know how old you are, but I used to watch, like when I was a kid back in the late 80s or early 90s, I used to watch all those shows like Evening at the Improv, Caroline's, what was it called? Something at Caroline's. And it was all these comedy shows at these really, like at the Improv, filmed at the Improv. You would get in a 30-minute episode, you would get 4 or 5 really good comedian 5-minute sets. And, that was a weekly thing. And I don't understand why they couldn't do something like that now, like with Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and just do like a 30-minute show from somewhere like that, like the Comedy Store or something.
Yeah. That format would be great. They have shorter sets on Netflix, but it's very like, they don't do it very often. I think they stopped doing it maybe even. So, that's how Nate Bargatze got famous. I opened for him. He just graduated from theaters to arenas because they couldn't fit that. Like you couldn't do like 6 shows in a theater. So he's like, now I do arenas. And that was because he did a 15-minute Netflix. Then he did, then they gave him like another one, and then they gave him, and those like popped off. And so then he got an hour, and then he was like legitimately was like huge draw and was too big for comedy clubs right after that.
Yeah.
And now they don't do that anymore.
And
also like we'll just pay the already famous people.
With the specials, you get the, like Patton Oswalt's and all that, where they're playing these big, these huge theaters and arenas and stuff like that. You got Bill Burr doing Red Rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to like the smaller comedy
comedy
shows?
sucks.
Like, you remember, go back and look at like Richard Pryor live on Sunset Strip, and it's like he's in this tiny little club, like just so killing it.
Yeah. So awesome. Yeah, I think I think Nate just filmed his in a smaller place in the Round, where Richard Pryor filmed one of his specials. So that's gonna be cool. But yeah, comedy. I get why you do it at like Red Rocks, but comedy sucks at Red Rocks. I'll tell you that right now. You're like in this giant amphitheater. It should be in a small windowless basement where the sound cannot escape. And the laughter's contagious, and the sound bounces off the walls, and people just laugh more, and you just feel tight, and it's like the comedian becomes looser, and you can riff more, and it's more of for not to sound too romantic about it, but like a little more of a dance between the audience and the performer.
Yeah. Well, I think I told Jacob too when I first saw it, when it first dropped a couple of weeks ago. I was like, that is one of the worst sounding comedy specials I've seen.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. It sounds like the that Bill Burr video of him yelling at the people in Philly. That's all grainy and it's filmed on like a filmed on like a flip phone.
Yeah,
it's got recorded on a flip phone. Yeah,
dude. It seems to me too. It's like it's almost like whenever a comic does get to perform bigger arenas, like obviously we don't get to see like every show that's on their tour, but it seems like the special, like even if you just kind of separate the material from its merits a little bit, it's like the specials that are filmed like in front of a bigger arena aren't as good as like the first special that was filmed like in a tiny comedy club because that's all you had. Like even if the material's better, it's just like the situation is not as good because you have you have what, like 1,000 people at least who are there just because you're doing an arena that's in their town. Like they have no fucking clue who you are.
Yeah, dude, it's funny. It's like a lot, if you don't do comedy, then it's sort of hard to understand that you could do the exact same set at two different places, and the audience could be good at one, you do really great, and the audience can be bad at another, and you do poorly. But your performance is almost identical. And my dad came to visit me last week, and he watched me do 2 shows, and I was like, this first show I'm going to do poorly in. It's a bad show. And and I did badly, and I bombed in front of my dad, and it was humbling. and then like then we went to a different place, went downtown. I live in New York, and it was the Comedy Cellar, and it's just great there. And so I did the same stuff, and it was like, and he was like, huh. And I was like, yeah, see, it has a lot to do. It doesn't mean that the individuals in the audience, that in the bad audience, are bad audience members. It's like, it has a lot to do with the context. And so like, if you're in a very good venue, you feel better as an audience member. And if you're out on a cliff 3,000 feet away from the performer, it's just different.
Oh yeah,
right.
If you're like hanging on to a rock, you're like rappelling while a guy's doing comedy, you're not going to laugh as much.
Yeah, it's just it seems like such a weird place to do comedy, like an amphitheater. It just doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I watched some of that special. I think I watched half of it. It's pretty good. Like, he's still super funny, but I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. You gotta go big.
How long has it been since you got passed at the Comedy Cellar, by the way?
Couple years.
Yeah. Because to me, like, that is kind of the club where a lot of the hit makers, like the new, like, graduating class, is kind of being grown. Because you got guys like Josh Johnson and Sam Jay who are just in there regularly, like killing it. And like, I mean, in 10 years from now, they're going to be like, you know, in my opinion, at least, like the Chappelles and the Birds of the world.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. For sure. There's like definitely a very new group in there than what it was. Like that old guard is kind of gone. They're still around, but it's definitely I wonder how they feel.
Yeah.
I think some of them are pissed off and some of them are not. The ones that are like have a great careers, I guess, don't care.
Right. Yeah, I
But
mean,
there's some really, really funny people that aren't getting booked as much as they used to, and they're still really, really funny. But
right.
there's just so many funny new people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely seeing like sort of an emergence of like a new class almost, because like the, you know, the old class of like the Mark Normans and the Joe Lists, like, yeah, they're unknown to a lot of people still, but it's like they've kind of, you know, they've made it to where they're headlining on the road like in every big club all
Yeah,
the
they're
time.
in terms of like what a celebrity is in America or in the world. I guess they're not very big, but in terms of the comedy world, they're the
Yeah.
highest.
Oh, they're huge. Yeah.
They're just below like the 5 super famous people. They're
Right.
like in the top 25 famous comedians
100%, especially
in
Norman.
the world. So like they're crushing it.
Yeah, I mean, especially Mark
Yeah.
Norman, because he's on like
Yeah.
no matter what podcast you listen to, dude, Mark Norman's
Yeah.
been on it. Like he's
He
been
was
on just
he was on one of my podcasts. Yeah.
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 He won't come on this one, but this is the only one. It's only a matter of time before he's on here. Like
100%.
we've talked to like every friend he has. So it's like we're fucking like we're sinking your battleship, Mark Norman. We're fucking hitting all around you, brother.
Well, maybe you can do that laundry you got behind you, and
yeah, dude.
you hang up something on the wall so it doesn't look like we're talking to you in a prison, and then he'll come on.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're nothing but 100% professional here.
Yeah, dude.
Open mic.
Dude,
I don't know. I couldn't hear the music. Mark's not gonna like that.
Yeah.
He's not gonna like that. He's gonna rip us apart as soon as he comes on here, dude.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'll get it fixed before then. I'll fix it.
Yeah. No, this is how much of a fucking beta male I am, dude. Like I'm in my extra bedroom with nothing on the fucking wall. Wow. My girlfriend's dirty laundry behind me, and she just texted me and told me I'm being too loud. And I'm like,
you're not being loud at all.
Even though before the show, like I could hear what she was listening to on the TV through the wall.
I'm a slave in my own home, Graham. I haven't.
It's like you are talking at this volume, and I don't know what. Look, she's gonna listen to this maybe.
No, she's not. It's fine.
Yeah, so it's a safe space. Yeah, I don't know what she wants you to do, dude.
So that's what happens.
Do you want me to talk to her? Get her in here. I'll talk to her.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, moderate comedy celebrity Graham K wants to
listen, you stupid woman. I'm a man.
I know way better than you.
I have my own YouTube special, and you will respect me.
I have thousands of views.
Yeah.
What do you have? Dirty laundry.
I like having a co-host. She might actually murder Jacob if he tries to tell her no on something.
I will say, I was ripping into you a bit, and then you mentioned it was your extra room, which is a bit of a flex.
Yeah, very upper class. Mm-hmm. It's my extra room in a double wide trailer, so it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes it very low class.
Great. Still, that's great though.
Thank you.
Yeah, he sprung for the double wide, so you know he's balling these days.
I need the double wide because I am a double wide, Bubba. I can barely fit through the fucking doorways in this place. But yeah, so in terms of getting your special made, like what was kind of, well, I don't want to ask you about like, you know, how much money you had to spend to make the special, but like, I mean, in terms of like the initial capital that you put up, I mean, have you made that back already? Like, was it worth it in, you know, return ticket sales? Like,
Yeah, it's still too early to tell. You know, I have not made my money back, but it has been worth it. 100%. It's been worth it.
Yeah.
I don't regret it at all. Um, you know, it's just at a certain point. I've been putting out albums for a decade.
Yeah.
You know, I have 4 albums, and it's like at this point,
I was about to say that's not even your first one on YouTube.
No. I have another special that was produced by Just for Last Festival in Montreal. And but you anyway, what I was gonna say is I was usually you make an album after you have your hour is done. And it doesn't make sense to just audio record it anymore. In fact, I probably should have filmed my other ones too. And so you might as well just spend a little bit extra on some cameras and sound equipment and hire an editor and hire a director and just film a special that way. So you need a bookend for your material, and I just need it to be out there. What if I get hit by a truck tomorrow and it's like all my material is just in my head and it's gone forever? Like I just needed to get it out.
So
that makes any sense.
Is it harder to are you actually like pushing it to any kind of streaming services, or is it hard to do that if it's already published on YouTube?
I went to my agent before when we just had it on before it was like color corrected, and we pitched it around, and we just didn't hear back from any people. It is going to be on Amazon Prime, and it is going to be on Tubi. Awesome. And some other things. I think maybe like Pluto TV or something like that, some comedy channel on there. But yeah, I have someone working on those deals right now, and that will probably I'll probably get my money back through that. But that is not really why I did it. It's mainly to get it out. And if people want to see it, they can. And that's what I'm proud of. I'm proud. All I can control is all I can control is like, is it funny? Right. Does it look good? And so I have those 2 things. I did my job. I don't know.
I feel like everyone who's like come on our podcast to kind of like talk about or promote a special or whatever too, like they always talk about how they just kind of did it for the love of the game. And like, if they had to lose money on it to do it, then so be it. Because like being a comedian is like several years of just being in the red and losing your money just because you love doing comedy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky that in the past few years, I've been able to make a pretty good living, decent living. Like and so you have to invest back into your business at a certain point. And I look at this as a reinvestment into my business. So, I mean, what the hell am I going to buy? Like a fancy couch? Well, I don't know. I don't care.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you say you live in New York. Yeah. Do you even have room in your apartment for a fancy couch?
I have 2 couches. I'm in my extra room, as a matter of fact.
Oh shit! So you're doing well.
Well, they're stacked on top of one another, so
they're double-decker couch. Yeah, of course, loft couch. People call them in New York. You wouldn't know about that.
No.
Yeah.
No, I live in the fucking woods. We don't even. I've never seen a couch in my entire life.
Your couch is in your yard.
It's a hollowed out log.
All right, dude.
My girlfriend is watching a puppet show right now.
Yeah, dude.
Watching it, and there's just a man playing spoons for musical accompaniment.
Don't even have a TV. It's just a fucking wooden block.
I can't hear Joey Jimson play the spoons. Quiet down in there.
So how long have you been doing comedy? When did you start?
2007.
Shit.
Yeah.
You get this, I was 7 years old.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I started comedy.
Yeah.
I was 30.
Now I'm 12.
Yeah. We're doing the same. So, it's been a long time. I started in New York. I was an undocumented worker, and I got a Conan audition, and so I could it was illegal for me to do Conan, so I had to move back to Canada and restart comedy after my fifth year in comedy. And after 3 years in Canada, I was able to like accumulate like enough things that I could prove to the American government that I was so funny I wouldn't be on welfare if they let me in. And so I got a green card. And then I moved to LA, and then I moved back to New York because I like New York a lot.
So why
But when I
does
started out, what's that?
I was gonna say why does Canada have a lock on comedians? That seems to be the number one export of Canada.
American comedy is dominated by Jewish people, Black people, and Canadians because you have to be people who are good comedians are good observers, but they're also outsiders. Mm-hmm. So you have to be an outsider, but also understand the culture that you're commenting on. So we basically are the same, but we are different. And I'm not saying that Canadians are the same as Black people. In fact, I would say we have a lot more trials and tribulations than they do. So, I mean, I don't think that's a controversial thing to say.
Hey, but we don't have military keeping you guys from coming across the border, though.
But we should. By all means, we should.
Well, we have military keeping you guys from coming over.
Right. Yeah.
And trying to just, I don't know, not being a school shooting, I guess.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. No, I'm having a good time. I like America a lot. I'm happy to be here, having a good time. I just what the hell was I saying? Yeah, that's why it took me just a while to like get settled. That kind of like leaving and then having to come back. It was, I did start over again in a weird way, but I had a really good opening class that I started out with in New York. I started out with Mark Norman, Sam Morril, Andrew Schultz, and I took a comedy class together. Our first 2 months of comedy. But also I started out with Michael Che, Pete Davidson. I remember my first Just for Laughs festival. It was 2013, and I'm like walking down the street with Pete Davidson, and it's Dan Soder and Nate are like walking a little bit ahead, and a couple other people, and he's like, "Man, Graham," he was like 18 at that point. He was like, "Graham, he might have been like 19, and he was like, Graham, I just want you like New York guys to like respect me." And I was like, "Just don't worry about us, man. You're gonna be fine. Keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna be big." And then 6 years later, I saw him. He'd been on SNL for like 4 years at this point. And I saw him on a flight. He was like in first class going from LA to New York. And I was getting on, about to go to the back to the seat by the bathroom probably. And I pass him and I go, hey, Pete. And he goes, "Hey, Mike." And
Oh man.
Yeah.
You know what? That's what fucking Kim Kardashian does to a person. Man.
Yeah. Well, it's not his fault. I don't blame him at all. I just think it's funny that life is so funny. This showbiz is so funny. Right. It's like, of course I'm gonna remember his name. It's in the news every day.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he has every woman in the world. Did you ever think meeting Pete, like knowing Pete Davidson as like an 18, 9-year-old boy, did you ever think you'd be like, yeah, he's gonna get inside Ariana Grande? Like, did that ever?
Well, Ariana Grande was 7 back then, so I don't want to think about those things.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but no, not at all. But I mean, we all like knew that he was just he was one of those people that was just going up. His career was just going up, and you're like, okay, well, this guy. I knew that he was like, we all were pretty sure he was going to be big.
Yeah. Was he good with the women back then or no?
He was pretty private with that stuff. He might have been. I have no idea.
Gotcha.
He was pretty. He was like pretty into the comedy thing. You know, he was like focused on comedy. So he wasn't like bringing girls to shows and like worried about that shit.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Which, paid off. He might have been. I mean, I'm sure that he was getting girls, but I don't know.
He had a pretty good special not too long ago on Netflix where he introduced some other comedians, and there were some pretty funny people on that special. I don't know if you guys saw that one. I think it was on Netflix, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was from the Netflix festival thing that a lot of people.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was like Pete Davidson presents the homies or something like that.
Yeah. My buddy Julio Gallerati was on that.
Yeah.
He's great. I love Julio.
Yeah, it had I think Nico White was on it.
Yeah,
people like that. I mean, I think I like those. Like that's something cool that I think a lot of people can do. Like if you can do it. Obviously, there were so many of those for the Netflix festival thing, but like if you can be like, Kevin Hart and then just put your name on something and like not even be there and just be like Kevin Hart presents these 5 comedians. I mean, that could do so much for people.
It's nice for Pete and for Ali Wong to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's good.
But there's tons of people, like even Snoop Dogg had one where Snoop Dogg was like, which I mean, he presented fucking Cat Williams. Like, he doesn't really need that.
It's like Snoop Dogg doesn't know who is a good underground comic. Who's like a good underappreciated comedian. He's not in. He's like smoking blunts with Martha Stewart. It's just coaching his football team.
There are some good people on there. I think Guy Torrey was on there. There were a few underground comics, but then of course, like the first person he brings out is Cat Williams. You're like, oh, like he's not helping anyone here.
Cat Williams is also, I will say this, underrated.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
he went crazy and people just forgot about him.
Right. I mean, like 2012, like early 2000s to 2012, Cat Williams, like you can't touch him. I mean, he's just like the best comic at that time.
When you were 8, you were watching him. I mean, like,
oh yeah,
Hopes be crazy.
Dude, why do you think I'm a comedian now? Because I was watching Cat Williams when I was 8. And I'd be like, all right, Big Pimpin'. And then I feel like Kevin Hart just kind of ruined his career because there could only be one, funny short black dude at a time.
Well, yeah, it's probably something to it, to be honest. And I'm sure he feels that way, and he's probably not 100% wrong.
Yeah.
But he also did shoot himself in the foot. I remember, like, I used to work at a restaurant, and these dudes that I worked with went to go see Cat Williams at, like, Madison Square Garden or something. Or, like, Carnegie Hall, like, some big place. And then he just didn't show up.
What?
He just he's having like a manic breakdown or I don't know what, but he just didn't do comedy that night.
He just treated it like a fucking job interview. It was like,
I don't need this. He treated it like a bar show. He just canceled.
Oh my god!
And his opener had to headline, and I remember them they're like, I don't remember. They're like, they didn't remember the guy's name, but they were doing his jokes, and I was like, oh, that's Will Sylvince, who's a staple at the Comedy Cellar. And and now I work with Will Sylvince. I'm going to post a video with me and Will Sylvince tomorrow, folks, which will be November 22nd.
Hell yeah. That is what tomorrow is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyway, that's my name dropping.
Yeah, no, I love Will, man. That's the thing that I like about New York comics, especially. I feel like LA comics don't kind of have that same like brotherhood where like they're kind of trying to bring other people up and whatever. Like, yeah, they all do each other's podcasts, but it's like you never kind of hear someone bring up like, oh, my friend Will Sylvince, who I love, and I feel like most of the it seems like it's just a whole different kind of like world of comedy out there.
Yeah. There. I mean, I lived out there for 2 years, and I would say that there is less. That is somewhat true. I think a lot of it has to do with how spread apart the city is, frankly.
Yeah.
But also there is some camaraderie there. There's little cliques, but they are spread out and don't seem to interact with each other as much. And here you do, and it's great. It's one of the great things. I don't know if you guys feel the same way about stand up, but it's like, you like you become you're like part of a fraternity, and I was not expecting that when I started, to like have so many friends because of it, and new friends. Like I meet new friends all the time. I am a full-blown adult, and I still make new friends all the time. It's amazing.
Yeah. Dude, I keep forgetting that you're Canadian until you say the word click wrong.
Yeah. What do you say? I say clique. What do you say?
Click.
Yeah, it's clique.
You're probably right, to be honest. Your people have a better grasp on the language.
Also, niche bothers me. It's niche.
I say niche. I say niche. Yeah.
Oh.
What do you say about the country Qatar? You say Qatar or do you say Qatar?
I say Qatar, but isn't it like Qatar or something? Like I'm not gonna say like Qatar. I'm not gonna go fajitas.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Qatar, according to a lot of people. It's supposed to be Qatar, and I'm like, I can't fucking say Qatar. It's Qatar.
Yeah, we'll just say Qatar. It's fine.
Yeah, no, like back to the camaraderie among comics. I remember one time I was doing. Jason was there. I've told this story before, where I got in a bar fight outside of it was like an open mic competition thing, where like if you were the funniest person, you win money. And I got in a street fight outside.
I can't imagine you getting into a street fight. I know we've never really met.
Graham.
Yeah.
I've been in so many street fights.
Wow.
I haven't been on stage in months because the last time I was on stage, I got attacked on stage.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry, man.
Yeah, I mean, I just, it made me kind of like think about my priorities, whatever, because like I have a young daughter too, so it's like, what if I got fucking killed? And then she was like, my dad is out telling dick jokes, and then someone stabbed him in the fucking throat.
What? Where are you doing comedy? Where?
Mississippi, if that makes sense.
And why are they attacking you?
Because
because we live in Mississippi is why. That's like the start and end of it. But like, it's a huge problem in the South, dude. Like, people just really don't get comedy, and everyone here is so fucking disrespectful. It's incredible. Yeah, I got in a fist fight outside of a bar in Mobile because this guy is like, his girlfriend didn't like my joke, just something, said I was a perv or something like that. And I said back like, well, fuck you, cunt, or some shit like that. Like the same kind of shit she was saying to me.
Yeah.
And they go, you want to fucking fight, whatever. And the guy who won the competition, this is one of his friends. Like, so it's just some guy who got brought to a bar to win an open mic competition.
Yeah.
To like stack the crowd with.
Yeah.
And so, he takes a swing at me. I duck. I don't hit him back. He walks away or whatever. And then I turn around and there's like 3 comics who I just met at this competition with their fucking arms up. Like, what's that guy's problem? Like, we're going to kick that guy's ass. Like, I've never met these people before this night, and all 3 of them were ready to just like fight someone for me, just because I was a comic.
Awesome! Oh, that's so awesome.
Well, the thing is, it's a comedy competition. It's this bar that does comedy every Saturday night or whatever night it was. We're over there doing this competition. Everybody knows it's a competition, but these people that this dude brought apparently have never been to a comedy show in their lives.
I don't think they've ever been in public.
Yeah, I don't think they know how to
don't know how to fucking behave
around other humans. And so we're all on, every comedian that's going on the stage, these people are heckling and talking and trying to like talking at the comedians, and like everything is just like madness to try to get through this.
A nightmare.
It was a nightmare. That was the night I walked up on stage. There's this one guy that kept talking to every single comedian, like heckling every single comedian. And I am deaf in my left ear. So the first thing I did when I got on stage, I looked at that guy and I said, look, I'm hearing impaired. I can't hear what you're saying anyway, so shut the fuck up. And he didn't say shit through my whole set.
Yeah, great. That's great. You gotta take charge sometimes. let them know that they're bothering people. I always like go like I'm always like I know these jokes. I'm getting paid regardless. You're just robbing people around you. You just remind the other people in the audience that they are screwing with them, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
And then people get the heckler usually sometimes gets embarrassed. But one time I got almost beat up in a small town was so I was judging a comedy competition. In order to get a green card, one of the things you have to do is judge your peers to show that you're like in higher standing in your industry. So I flew to I think it's the Sudbury Comedy Festival, Sudbury, Ontario.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, it is like just like how it sounds. If you just picture how it sounds, that's what it looks like. It's just like a mining town, and there's like tough people there, and it's like this, like they, especially the young men there, they just fight all the time. And there was this one sort of nerdy guy with a beard. He looks like he never leaves the woods, his cabin. He had great jokes. He had really funny, well-written jokes, and he didn't bring anybody. And then the other person, he did great. This guy with the beard, and there was like 5 people, and then one guy just did so well, and he was like humping the stool, and he was like using the mic like as like a swinging it like it was his penis, and like just the worst comedian you've ever seen, like a sketch about a bad comic.
Yeah, so my act.
Yeah. I mean, I know why now. I know why you're getting fight. Hit a lot. People are trying to help you.
Right. Yeah. Get me out of the situation.
Get him off the stage. He's ruining his life. But anyway, I judged it so that the nerdy guy won. And an hour later at the bar, this girl comes up to me and goes, "How come that guy didn't win? That guy he did the best." And I was like, "I know, but his jokes weren't very good." She's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, I explained, humping the stool, blah, blah, blah. And then I turn back, look at my beer, and then 2 seconds later, he's there and goes, "I heard you're talking, are we allowed to swear on this?"
Oh, yeah.
I heard you talking shit about me to my girlfriend. Talking shit about my girlfriend, bro. Like, there was just a setup, like, and then there's like 3 of his buddies behind him. And I was like, "You want to fight?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "All right, let's go outside." And then we went outside, and I'll go first. I'll meet you out there. And I was like, "You get your boys. I'll meet you out there." And they're like, "Oh yeah, oh cool. You're gonna be dead, bro." And I was like, "Oh, we'll see." And then I went outside and I ran all the way back to the hotel.
Yeah, dude.
In the snow, just top speed.
Hey, I don't blame you.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's no way to win in that situation. Especially when you're in a town where like you don't know anybody and you have no friends.
Die for these animals. I don't care. No. It's weird. I'm sorry that you keep getting attacked on stage. I'm sorry that it's not going viral and you're not.
I know, right? The thing is, like, it wouldn't have gone viral because I didn't do anything clever. Like I was like trying to do crowd work with this table of just outrageous, and I was headlining, by the way. I was the headliner of this bar show, and it's 11 o'clock at night. And their story was that, "Oh, we're having dinner and this guy's brother's funeral is tomorrow, and we're just trying to have a nice dinner." I'm like, "Dude, it's 11 p.m. and you were all fucking shit-faced and just ruining this night for everyone else that's here." And I was trying to do
it was like an ambush show?
No, it wasn't. Like, it was planned like 2 months in advance. Like, I'm the headliner of this place. It's just they didn't know. Like, there was like they didn't, come in, like no one told them there was a fucking comedy show going on.
It's a bar / restaurant, but it's like a tourist kind of a place. Because we're on the Gulf Coast.
There's just people there that didn't know there was going to be a comedy show.
They do these comedy nights like once a month, but the restaurant doesn't do jack shit to like let their patrons know that there's gonna be comedy.
But the thing is like there were fucking 6 comics on before I was on. Like I'm closing the show. Like you have so much opportunity to be like, I don't want to be here and listen to this and just fucking leave. But instead, like, you know, I was trying to like include them in the show, and then fucking started doing crowd work at their expense to other people. And some guy came and threw a water in my face, so I threw my cigarette down his shirt, and that pissed him off. We just ended up fighting.
Were you smoking on stage?
Yeah, it's open air. Like it's so you go into like this elevator or take the stairs up or whatever, and it's called the Sky Bar. It's like this open aired like bar, so like you can smoke in there and do whatever. Yeah,
cool. Very jazzy.
Yeah, I was very impressed that I got the cigarette down his fucking shirt. Like it was like just the perfect like Michael Jordan like cigarette burn on the fucking neck, dude.
I gotta say, you're really antagonizing these people, though.
Yeah, no, to be fair. Well, I mean, I didn't start it, right? Like, I mean, they, you know, it's like if you talk shit to a comedian, like, don't expect a comedian to not talk shit back. It's like, yeah, I work for myself. Like, you can't be like, I want to speak to your manager. Like, fucking.
Yeah, but I think you're the only comedian that's like actively tried to light a heckler on fire. So.
Hey, I'm coming prepared next time, dude. The next time I go on stage, I'm gonna bring a fucking thing of lighter fluid and just a fucking Bic lighter, dude.
I'm just gonna see just a TMZ. It's comedian accidentally lights himself on fire.
Yeah.
Funniest
part of the night.
Comedian joke.
Hey, now that's gonna go
joke
viral.
Bombs, then he lights himself on fire.
Yeah, dude.
Do they have to write bombs?
Yeah, if that goes, that probably would
not that you would bomb.
Be the thing that that makes you go viral. Jacob is fourth degree burns.
Yeah, dude, for sure. I've already had 3rd degree burns on my shoulder, dude. Like I'll fucking do it again if I can be famous.
But
we're Comedy Central credit.
We're coming up to the end of the episode, and Graham's been absolutely awesome talking to you, man.
Thanks for having me.
One more question before we go. I just want to know how you feel, since because of what we talked about at the beginning of the episode. How do you feel is the state of comedy right now? Do you think it's do you think that we'll get to a place again where we'll get to see those kind of smaller the smaller specials in a big setting like Netflix or anything like that? Or do you think that the smaller shows are going to be more self-produced and have to rely on, like you said, the algorithm?
I think that it's going to be an amalgamation of both. I think that this sort of what's happening now will settle down into like the best self-produced specials will get people big enough where Netflix will give them like a half-hour special or something like that, or whoever, So I still think that producing your own thing is going to be an important first step, which is too bad because a lot of people, like I don't have a family. If I had a family, I probably couldn't afford to produce my own special.
Yeah.
I should be buying like diapers. Right. So it's kind of messed up in that way. But I don't know. Yeah. So maybe we could make like a collective.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That would actually be kind of cool, where you have like a bunch of lower level comedians. We all get together and pool our money and film specials for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You buy a camera crew for like 2 nights and film like 6 specials.
It's actually not a bad idea.
So they're kind of doing that in Austin right now. Our buddy Mike Eaton that came on the show, that's what his special was. It was part of like 3 or 4 other people who all went on stage that night for like 30 minutes each, and they just did all the cameras and stuff, and and gave it to them to each like release on their own YouTube specials.
No, it's smart. It's a really good, I think that's a there's always a solution. It's just it's just there's a lot of really funny people. You can definitely get there are pros and cons to everything. I don't know. I truly to answer your question, Jason, I have no idea. And I've never had any idea. I don't know anything. I'm just
with you.
Yeah.
I hate having to deal with like an algorithm or anything. I'm the worst about trying to understand when to post and what to post, and like having to be on a schedule of when to post things, and it's just I hate it. It's too much.
Yeah, I recently started outsourcing the editing for a lot of these clips because it was just I was writing less. I was like I'm like a video editor all this stuff. I'm like, well, I don't have a day job. I have the time. It's like, no, I need to be creating. I can't be like cropping stuff all day.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of shit with podcasting too, dude. Like if I didn't have to get up and go to work, then I would just spend 8 hours doing shit for the podcast, because there's so much shit to do when it comes to writing, performing, or whatever, your own stand-up, and then too, like producing your own show, booking guests, creating graphics, fucking putting out promo clips, doing TikTok and Snapchat clips, and all that fucking bullshit you have to do if you want to have 12 people watch.
We did a little test of the YouTube Shorts a couple of weeks ago. We took one of our listeners, I Am the Rampage, give him a shout out. He took a clip of one of our episodes and gave it to me, and I put it up on YouTube Shorts, and it went pretty crazy for about a day or so, and a couple thousand downloads of it. And I was like, wow, need to do more stuff like that, but I just don't have the time to do it. Like, I have to go back and listen through the entire episodes again to try to find like, one little 10, 15-second clip is like, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, you could always just like have a little sheet of paper and go, that was funny at 37 minutes or something like that.
Well, we have an unpaid intern as well, so we could just have him do all of the backbreaking labor.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
BJ to Blow, that's his name. Give him a shout out on the show here.
Yeah, BJ, if you don't have us a clip by the morning, you're fired. So just hurry up and make it snappy, okay?
Yeah.
Well, Graham,
you're a great manager.
Yeah, he is. Well, Graham, tell everybody where they can find your stuff on the interwebs.
Guys, definitely check out my special. It's youtube.com/Graham K Comedy. My name is spelt Graham like the cracker, and my last name is K-A-Y. So GRAHAMKAY. Follow me on Instagram at Mr. Graham K. And I'm going to be, I tour all the time, so you can sign up for my little mailing list, and then I shoot you an email if I'm going to be in your state, and that's it. That's what we're doing. I got to get the mailing list up on the link on my Instagram or on my website at grahamk.com. That's it.
Awesome. Well, Jacob, you got anything you want to throw out there before we leave this evening?
Yeah, dude. Live in a Bowling Alley, definitely one of my top 5 specials of the year so far. I definitely suggest that you guys go check that out.
That means a lot. I appreciate it.
No problem, dude. So the next month, before the end of the month, Jason is going to wax me as our special Patreon torture Jacob fucking segment. I don't even know what we're doing anymore.
I can't wait.
Dude. I don't know why, but yeah, Jason's gonna wax me.
I'm gonna take a nipple off.
Oh, dude, I do have some gnarly fucking nipple hairs that you can wax. Aside from that, I already booked all of December already. And we have some pretty cool people coming on, man. If you like guys who produce their own comedy specials, we have someone else like that. And we have 2 very funny females coming on as well, one of whom used to be a Playboy model.
Ooh.
So I'm very excited for that one. Let's go, boys.
And for me, if you are interested in video games at all or retro video games, go check out the Nerd Cave Retro Show at Nerd Cave Retro, my other show. We just celebrated 300 episodes. We've been doing it for 6 years. Go check it out at Nerd Cave Retro on Twitter and Instagram. And that's going to do it for us this evening. If you would like to email us, you can email us at openmicerspodcast@gmail.com. We are at OpenMicers on Twitter and Instagram. And go to patreon.com/OMPodcast to support the show. And you get to watch me take off one of Jacob's nipples this month.
Oh, yeah.
And go do that. And we will see you guys next week.
Don't forget to cancel Gerard Butler.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now, too. Thank you. A couple of people popping in and out here and there, but thank you to everybody that's going to watch this on YouTube, and we will see you guys